Alright, so this is my first sprint for my final project for MS539. I'm going to demo what I have so far and kind of give a plan for what I am going to be intensively working on for this next week. So I am going to be creating a mental health app with it's got some multiple forms here, uh, which some of them have functionality. So let's go ahead and just demo this real quick, and then we'll talk about the code as we go along. All right, so there's going to be a welcome page when you first sign on. Um, you'll create a username and password. This does not have functionality yet. Going to figure out how to, still figuring out how to incorporate, how to save the username and password after the program shuts down and using databases and stuff like that. So that's going to be part of what I am going to be implementing in my next sprint, or possibly the sprint after, because I'll be focusing on assigning user-specific data to a date, which I'll explain later. But right now, we can just click the sign in button, which brings us to um, our dashboard here. So we've got four main functions of our mental health app. We've got journal, meditation, mood tracking, and habit tracking. Right now, the journal and the habit tracking do not have any functionality. The meditation form I've started. So it's going to contain different poses, meditation audio, different types of meditation, and then more facts about how meditation can help you. Also, it's got this little thing at the top here. I'm going to reorganize, make it look a little prettier, probably add a background picture to the form as well. So all of the little touch-ups on the GUI I'll be implementing in my next sprint as well. But I'll talk about my next sprint after I get to the first one. Let me focus here. So then we can return to our dashboard. I'm not sure if these other forms are supposed to go away or not, but my code says for them to close out. So I'll have to look at that again. Then we have our mood tracker. So we have the instructions here. Rate the intensity of each feeling. It's best to do this as a daily mindfulness exercise. 5 being very intense, 0 being least intense. So right now the save answers does not have functionality yet. But what I have done is implement some error handling for the numeric up downs. So, for example, if you go above 5, you lose functionality on the rest of the page. So, max input 5, you can't return the dashboard. So, let's go back into the field here. Return to the dashboard there. I've also implemented a date picker here. My idea here is to, when the user picks a certain date, their data from that date, they will be able to explore whether that be their journal entries or their moods from that day. And then hopefully if I get there, I'll be able to display the user data over a certain period of time. So if the user wants to see how their mood's been for the past month, creating a graph for that, but one step at a time. So let's go ahead and just look at the code here. So we've got a lot of different forms. So for the main one with the functionality that we have, as other than the basic code for flipping between the forms, main one that we have is the mood tracker. So we've got this is the return to dashboard. So this dot close, then dashboard form, new dashboard form 3, show dialog. So this brings you back to the dashboard, which the meditation function form also has that function. This is the error checking for the numeric up downs. Creating an error checking with my error provider. And that only allows a max input of 5. Increase this error. Here. Let's see what else. So as far as my GUI components so far, I've got text boxes, labels, buttons. Text box, labels, buttons, pictures with functionality. You can click on the pictures. And these numeric buttons. And my error provider. So far. So for my next sprint, I'm going to be. I think I'm going to take this kind of one functionality at a time. So if I go back to my dashboard here, I'm going to make sure that I have at least want to make sure that I have at least a functional app by the end here. So I'm going to be focusing on the move tracker and the meditation app and the overall design for my next sprint. So the move tracker and the meditation app should be fully functional by my next sprint. And then I will be focusing on the journal aspect and the habit tracker. So I think I'm going to take this, kind of split it up here. I'm also going to be adding a few touches to the GUI to make it look a little bit more presentable in the backgrounds of the forms and whatnot. Main questions that I'm going to be focusing on this week: how to assign user-specific input to a specific day, like I was saying. So if I want the user to be able to check their data that they inputted for their mood tracker on a certain day, I want that information to be available to them. So how to save that in some sort of database and have them access that, or list, or array. I'm not sure yet, so I'm going to figure that out. And then, basically that's going to be. And then how to create the username and password is what the questions I'm going to be focusing on for this next week while I'm working on this sprint here. So I hope that was, at least a little insight on what I've started here. Plan to make a lot of progress this next week to have a lot more event handlers happening for what's going on here. Including, well, we'll get to that, but thinking about how the user is going to create their list of habits and adding things to lists and whatnot, and subtracting things from lists, and using that functionality, and saving text in the journal to a database. So all that will be to come. And that is about it for my first sprint. See you next week.